In the shadows where truth and tales intertwine, we find the thrilling, the chilling, the downright spine-tingling. From the paranormal to the peculiar, every echo has a story. Dare to delve into the unexpected, the unexplained? Brace yourself, for you're about to embark on a journey where fear meets fascination. Stay tuned if you dare, for stories that will make your heart race and your mind ponder. Welcome to the realm of the eerie, the realm of the unknown. And remember, like and subscribe, if you dare. In the cold, quiet depths of Sector 12, I was summoned for a mission. This wasn't an ordinary task, though. It was something far more chilling, something that would embed itself into my memory forever. I was assigned to Project Woodland, a covert operation shrouded in mystery and dread. Sector, a harmless military division, harbored secrets darker than the night sky. And Project Woodland, the secret program I was now a part of, was the darkest of them all. There was a sense of apprehension that hung like a shroud over the entire assignment. Whispers of a malevolent spirit haunting the forest, tales of innocent campers, found lifeless under the towering trees, their faces frozen in terror. Something wicked lurked in the shadows of the woodland, something that hunted under the cover of darkness. As experienced army captain, I had faced many opponents, but this was unlike any I had encountered before. This was not an opponent that could be conquered with bullets and bravery alone. An entity that thrived in the shadows, an entity that thrived on fear. The forest, once a sanctuary of serenity and beauty, had turned into a breeding ground for terror. Stories of the mysterious deaths of innocent campers had spread like wildfire, instilling fear into the hearts of the bravest men. The victims were found in the most remote parts of the forest, their bodies cold and lifeless, their faces etched with a look of sheer terror. It was evident that something was hunting them. Something wasn't human. As I prepared to embark on my mission, an undeniable dread washed over me. I was about to confront an enemy like no other, an enemy that lurked in the shadows, an enemy that was not of this world. I was about to step into the unknown, into the heart of the forest, into the lair of the spirit. I ventured into the dense, haunting forest. The air grew colder, and an ominous feeling began to creep up my spine. With each step deeper into the woodland, a sense of dread washed over me. The forest seemed like an endless labyrinth of towering trees, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers against the moonlit sky. The silence was eerie, broken only by the rustling of leaves and my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. As I ventured further, a chill ran down my spine. I had the distinct feeling of being watched, of eyes piercing through the darkness, observing my every move. The air grew heavy, suffocating, as if the forest itself closing in on me. Suddenly the underbrush rustled and a figure appeared. It was no ordinary creature of the night, but a shadowy form, its presence darker than the blackest night. Its eyes glowed with a sinister light, sending a shiver down my spine. This was the entity that had been haunting the forest. This was the dark shadow. Before I could react, the shadow lunged at me. It was like being hit by a wave of icy cold wind, taking my breath away. I felt it seeping into my skin, my bones, my very soul. It was as if I was drowning in the darkness, sinking deeper and deeper into an abyss. The terror was overwhelming, yet I could do nothing to resist. I was not facing it, I was becoming it. My world twisted and distorted. I saw through the eyes of the shadow, felt its insatiable hunger for power, its relentless desire to possess. I screamed, but my voice was lost in the void. I was no longer myself. I was the shadow. The last thing I remember is an intense burning sensation, as if my insides were on fire. I tried to fight it, to push the shadow out, but it was too late. My vision blurred, my muscles gave way, and I fell to my knees. Suddenly a sharp pain coursed. As I came to my senses, I found myself in a quaint, dimly lit cabin, confronting an elderly native Indian man. The native man, his features deeply etched with wisdom and years, unfolded an ancient tale, a story predating time itself. He narrated the tale of a sinister shadow, a malevolent spirit that had terrorized these forests for hundreds of years. The spirit, as he clarified, was an incessant entity, forever seeking a vessel, a host sturdy enough to accommodate malevolent energy. The spirit had found its equal in you, he voiced, an individual toughened by several years of military service, a man whose spirit had been molded in the crucibles of warfare. He informed me that the sinister shadow had located its ideal host, and it had no plans of releasing it. But the native Indian man was not just a raconteur. He was a shaman, a spiritual knight, bestowed with the duty of safeguarding his people, his territory, and all those who fell prey to the sinister shadow. He had recognized the signals, deciphered the prophecies, had arrived just in the nick of time. With a rock-solid resolve gleaming in his eyes, the shaman initiated the exorcism. The ambiance in the quaint cabin became dense with tension as he recited powerful archaic incantations, his voice oscillating like the cadence of a primitive drumbeat. The shaman moved around me, his actions fluid and accurate, his hands creating elaborate designs in the atmosphere. The room seemed to reverberate with energy as the shaman's incantations grew louder, more fervent. I could sense the sinister shadow squirming within me, resisting, retaliating. But the shaman was unwavering, his voice resonating through the cabin, his powerful words piercing the conflict between the shaman and the sinister shadow intensified. A mute war waged in the recesses of my soul. The tension was tangible, the air loaded with an electric energy, the result teetering on the edge. With a concluding incantation, the room descended into silence, and I felt a sense of relief. The sinister shadow had been exorcised, expelled back to the darkness from where it had emerged. A battle had been conquered, but the war was still far from resolved. Having escaped the clutch of the menacing shadow, I felt a mix of relief and a residual curiosity. My heart was still racing. My skin still experienced the ghostly touch of the shadow's freezing grip. I was alive indeed, but not without scars. The native Indian man, my rescuer, my exorcist, settled by the fire, his wise eyes mirroring the rhythmic dance of the flames. In a voice as ancient as the surrounding forest, he started to unravel the bone-chilling truth that would forever reshape my comprehension of my ordeal. He revealed that the menacing shadow had been persistent in its mission. It had been on a relentless pursuit, hunting for a body, a host, to execute its malevolent designs. It had targeted the unsuspecting campers, but their spirits were too weak, too brittle. They couldn't resist it. His words weighed heavy in the atmosphere, a palpable reminder of the terror we had both encountered. I paid heed, my blood freezing as the realization began to slither in like a snake in grass. He continued explaining how I was different. My spirit had been steeled by the inferno of battle, toughened by the challenges I had undergone. I was robust enough to contain the shadow, to keep it at bay. I was its selected vessel. The seemed to pause, the wind quieting, its rustling, the trees frozen in the wake of this revelation. My world spun, my reality transformed. I was more than just a survivor, more than a victim. I was the chosen one, the intended vessel of the menacing shadow. My mind sprinted, my thoughts a tornado of fear, interest, and a peculiar sensation of destiny. The menacing shadow hadn't just attacked me, it had picked me. And so, our tale of the campfire horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The campfire horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.